Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Amiibo here, and today I wanted to share a very good sale that GameStop is doing here in the US right now, where a lot of the games are being priced down to $30 or $15. Now, usually with sales like this, it's a lot of the popular stuff. It's what you expect. It's your Call of Duties and your Maddens, and those are part of the sale as well. However, they're also, I guess, clearancing out and making way for new stock of new titles by getting rid of a bunch of niche stuff that I really like, and I like collecting, and I like playing. So for example, I got this at GameStop for 15 bucks, or if you're lucky, you can find a copy of this, The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4 pack on PS5. These are $15 right now at GameStop. The trick is, and the asterisk on that is, they're not available online. You need to find them in store. So that's what we're getting into today. We're going to go over the games that I managed to find and add it to my collection from this sale, but also go through everything on the website that says it's on sale that you should keep an eye out for at your local store. And I would recommend, if you're interested in a lot of these, to definitely check, and maybe if it's not on the shelf, maybe ask if it's behind the counter. If the pricing doesn't seem right, ask them to scan it and make sure that the price is updated in the system, that kind of thing. But let's get into it. Okay, so here we are on GameStop's website. I'll have this link down below for you to check for yourself what is in the sale, but also we'll go over it now in this video. The issue with GameStop's website is, at least for me, even when I am logged in here, I'm signed out right now, but even when I'm logged in and I have my store location set, it still doesn't have the accurate stock for what's actually available in store. Ideally, you would click on a game like Crisis Core for 30 bucks, which isn't even that great of a deal, but you would click on this, you would have your store in, and it would say if it's available for pickup in store or same-day delivery or even to ship to home. However, I proved that this is broken yesterday because I was checking for a copy of Under Night in Birth to see if this was in stock at my store, and it said it wasn't. I showed up to the store, and there it was on the shelf. So I really recommend you actually look through this video, maybe make a list of the games you're interested in, and then go to the GameStop and actually check for yourself, because their online stock system does not seem to be the best. But going through the list, I started it at $30, so I would say these are the less interesting things, and maybe some of the games you're a little less likely to find, like the Avengers Special Edition here with the Captain America statue, Spirit Tea for 30. They had a bunch of these NES games from LRG on sale for 30 and 15. That's kind of interesting, but I'm not sure how likely it is you'll actually find those. Taito Milestones, Eternites for 30, not the greatest deal or anything. Cereza for 30 is fine. There's a few pages of these. Ayuden Chronicle I was actually considering on PS5. Fist of the North Star. Star Troopers for 30 on Xbox One. That's an awful deal. Suicide Squad for 30. Oh, again, now at this point in the video, you're thinking, Bo, this is a terrible sale. What are you talking about? It's when you get to those $15 games that it actually really starts to like heat up, and there's some really great games, especially from NIS America. I talk a lot about NIS America on this channel, and we have our first couple of hits here. So, first of all, I was hoping my GameStop would have the Skull and Bones Premium Edition, just because it's funny. It has all the DLC, and it has a steelbook, but they did not. Unfortunately, that was out of stock. I would have picked that up just to mess around with. But the Legend of Legacy HD Remastered, I have never seen most of these NIS America games for as low as GameStop is currently selling them. And what's great is the sale also applies to pre-owned. So if you can find a copy of this pre-owned, it's actually only $13.30 for pros, or $13.99. This, of course, is a remaster of a 3DS game. I think the original developer was Furyu, but Atlas published it on 3DS. So if you get lucky, you can find that on PS5. That is what I'm a little disappointed my GameStop did not have. I already have it on Switch, but I don't know. There is something at that price point. I'm like, okay, I'll double dip and get it on PS5 as well as Switch. This one actually caught my eye, and we can start going through some of the stuff I bought here. I usually buy these games digitally. However, I do like owning them physically. I know this one requires a download, but for 15 bucks, I did add Modern Warfare 3 to my collection. Usually what happens is once the game gets very cheap, I'll go back and I'll buy a physical copy. But that is like one of the few things I will buy digital, because it's just so convenient having it there. Story of Seasons on PS5, 15 bucks. Coffee Talk, I know a lot of people like. Catan on PS5 for 15, as well as just a lot of weirder stuff like UFO Robot, Grendizer, Persona 5 Tactica, God of Rock. Carrying on here, Trine 5 on Switch for 15 is pretty good. Castle of Shikigami for 15 from Red Art Games. Ultros is one that my GameStop did have, but I decided against because it comes in a big box, and on the shelf they didn't have the big box. I don't know if maybe they had it behind the counter, which is why it's always worth asking, but it wasn't a game I felt strongly enough about to really investigate investigate too much. The Konosuma game on PS4, as well as Weird West for 15. Silent Hope, this is a cool one to see on sale, especially if you can find it with that day one edition box that comes with like an art book and stuff. This was an action RPG that Marvelous released back, I want to say in 2023, that I feel like got really underappreciated. It looks like a lot of fun, a little basic, right? It definitely, you know, has that basic chibi look to it, but this game's actually pretty fun, and if for 15 bucks, you really can't go wrong there. Everybody want to Switch for 15, that's funny. Visions of Mono on Series X, if you are, I can't imagine that many people watching my videos collect on Xbox, but there are also some great Xbox Series X deals here. Maybe even that might even be where the best deals are now I'm looking at it. Persona 3 Reloaded for 15, Visions of Mono for 15. This one's funny, the Dead Island 2 Hella Edition. This is the huge box set. If you can find this in store, it's down to 15 bucks right now. Yeah, and like I said, I mean, it is a lot of the stuff you expect. Exo Primal for 15 is pretty cool, but you know, NBA 2K23, I'm not sure who's really buying that at this point. It's really those NIS America and like XC titles. Potionomics Masterwork Edition. You can find this in the big box, usually 40 down to 15 over there. I think the PS5 version is also on sale. Wonder Boy, Asha, and Monster World. This is one my GameStop actually did have, but I already owned it, so wasn't too useful for me. Wizard with a Gun is pretty cool. Once again, that is a bigger box release, this deluxe edition. My GameStop had the standard on the shelf, so I'm not sure if they had the other contents behind the shelf there. Under Night Ember, this is the one I was most excited to grab. It's not like a crazy deal because it is already retailing for 30. I think on eBay you can get it for like 25, but to find it's on Switch for 15 is pretty cool. I've been in a huge fighting game kick recently. I've never played one of these games. I know they're pretty popular. Arc System Works, of course, publishing it, so that was what I was really excited to see for such a price point, because you really don't see games like that on sale, really, like ever. That's the kind of stuff that usually just comes out, goes out of stock, and then it's gone. Master Detective Archives Raincoat on Switch. I was hoping the PS5 version would be part of the sale. I really want it on PS5 with I think they added some new content to it. But this for 15, I've never seen this game go that low. This is from the Danganronpa developer, as you can tell by the art style. So if you can find that for 15, that's a steal for sure. I also learned through the sale that GameStop sells anime and like DVDs and stuff. They had Monkey Man and Naruto Box Set 3, which is interesting. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth for 15 on PS4 is interesting. I didn't even know that had a physical release on PS4 here in America. Lords of the Fallen, I know, is having a bump right now. Watch Dogs Legion Steelbook Edition. Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of like the bigger hitter games are actually on Xbox, like Tekken 8 for 15. I've never seen Tekken 8 down that low. And it looks like GameStop is getting rid of or at least trying to downsize their Xbox section in terms of Series X stuff. There's that Potionomics PS5 edition. Continuing on, Modern Warfare 2, of course, Small Land, Sherwood. There's the Skull and Bones Steelbook again on Xbox. Hammerwatch on Switch for 15 is pretty cool. Ghost Runner 2, this is actually one that I managed to snag. My GameStop had this. I like Ghost Runner 1. So yeah, cool to pick this up. Worth noting, if you haven't been to a GameStop in a while, they will sell used games as new. So even though all the games I got, for all intents and purposes, except one, which we'll get to, even though they are all used, they don't have the plastic wrap, they're selling them as new. GameStop, it's weird promoting them in a video like this, like, oh, go check out this good sale, because GameStop is an awful company. But this is a new copy because it has a plastic seal right here. They put a sticker over it, but you can literally see the indent of where the pre-owned sticker was. GameStop, come on. I would have been happy paying the 13 for a used copy, which is what this is, but they were charging 15. So, but either way, pretty good deal for Ghost Runner 2. I haven't really seen that pop up on sale over at Best Buy or anything. Trine 5 on PS5 for 15 is a pretty cool Power Wash sim. Turnights on PS4 for only 15. That's interesting that the Switch version is so much more expensive. Ray Nodis on Switch for 15. This is really, I guess, like the best part of the sale is the NIS America stuff, in my opinion. I already had this game on Switch, but we'll get to the PS5 version. But this came out late last year, did not get the best reviews. Another game from Furyu, actually, the Legend of Legacy developers. So for 15, you don't see NIS America games go down this cheap. You just don't. Yeah, once again, Xbox Series X sale kind of carrying here with this this Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth on Series X specifically for 15 bucks. Remnant 2 for 15. You have the Doink Soft collection on Switch for 15. My store actually had that, but I decided to pass on it. Dragon Age, as well as Eternites on PS5 for 15 is not a bad deal. I think I've seen it down to like 20 on Woot through Amazon. A couple other games here, just a lot of like the junkier stuff, but there are those gems though, like the Chia OLED edition on Switch. I think also on PS5 for sale. I've heard that game is really great. A lot of Xbox stuff, though. Nickelodeon Kart Racers collection with the code. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, as well as this. And then, yeah, here we have Harry Potter Quidditch Champions on PS5, which is actually the game I referenced that I picked up sealed. Watching through all these for, well, it's not my first time, but it's Olivia's first time. And I'm kind of in the Harry Potter itch. Maybe I'll check out a little Harry Potter Quidditch game. I figured for 15 bucks, you can't really, might as well check it out there, that kind of thing. Here we have one of my favorite games of 2023. We have the Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. I'm not sure why I said the. It's just Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. This is an incredible music game, rhythm game. I've never seen it go down this low. I think I've seen it at like 25, 30 on Amazon and Best Buy. But for 15 bucks, I'm telling you, if you like Final Fantasy music and you like rhythm games at all, this is one of the best rhythm games ever made. It's probably my favorite rhythm game, to be honest, just because the breadth of the Final Fantasy series and its soundtrack and the types of music that is in each game. Like, it just varies so much, and this covers all 16 games, or maybe it's all 15 in the base game, and then, yeah, 16 would have been DLC. But still, fantastic game for 15 bucks. Is this game on PS4? I would have rebought this if I could have, honestly, just to go for the trophies or something, just to replay it all again, because I love that game so much. Moving on, though, we also have Under Night In-Birth on PS5, which I did also get. I was very surprised my GameStop had it on Switch and PS5, but I decided, you know what, this is a cool game. I'll pick it up on both, have it on Switch for portable play, but also on PS5 for a bit of a more core experience, we'll say. And that's what surprised me so much about the sale. It's just like, you don't see stuff like this getting discounted. It must just be them clearing stock and trying to make space and get rid of these, slower selling titles like a Arc System Work, like an Arc System Works fighting game called Under Night In-Birth Cis Celeste. So that's a great one to look out for if you like fighting games. Samba de Amigo Party Central. I don't like this game very much, but it is a brand name. It's a real title that people, a real franchise, I should say, that people are interested in. Raynaudus on PS5, another one that I did pick up here. They had this, like I said, I already had it on Switch, but for 15 bucks, I will pick it up again on PS5 for the collection, eventually play it here as well. Another game where they were like, oh, it's new. I don't know about that, but you know what? Sure, fine, whatever. And I'm actually curious. I want to make sure this is technically new. Okay, it does have like the inserts. There's the soundtrack code if you want that, the Raynaudus soundtrack. So like it is, like, it's all in there at least. They're not completely shafting me, but there's like dust on the disc. You see that? Yeah, that's picking up perfectly right there. You see that? Come on, man. GameStop. What are we doing? Class of Heroes 1 and 2, Complete Edition on PS5 for 15 is pretty neat. As well as, this is what I was talking about, a lot of these like limited run NES reproduction cartridges, I guess maybe it's the GameStop retro stores that carry them, but they're selling a lot of these from 60 down to 15. So if they had this, I probably would have picked it up. Boy and This Blob reprints on NES for 15 bucks with all like the different special edition contents that come in it. That's a pretty great deal. You never see limited red stuff down that low. Unicorn Overlord on an Xbox Series X. If you have not played Unicorn Overlord and you're an Xbox player, highly recommend that. Cannot recommend Unicorn Overlord enough. Exoprimal for 15, pretty good. I think that game, the servers are still active. I don't know if you can find players, but I actually really liked Exoprimal for 15. That's a great price point. Better price point is free. If you have Xbox Game Pass, it's on there as well. Neon Whites, I was hoping my store would have on PS5 because that is a great game. I would like to go for another run through that on PS5 with trophies, but alas, they did not have it. Super Crazy Rhythm Castle on a Switch for 15 from Konami. And then on the final page, this is where they were hiding the stuff that I really wanted to add it to the collection, but unfortunately, my GameStop did not have. First up, a PSVR 2 game. There's not many of those that are available physically, but The Walking Dead is one of my favorite shows ever, and I always wanted to play The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, Retribution, Payback Edition specifically. I gotta get the full title in there. But this was on sale for 15. My GameStop did not have it. I can't imagine that many GameStops are even carrying any PSVR 2 games. Demon Slayer Sweep the Board for 15, pretty good deal. SMT5 Steelbook Edition on Series X, awesome deal there if you play on Xbox, if you can find it. And then I guess really, these are two of the best parts of this sale. Honestly, I referenced it at the beginning, but Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4 Deluxe Edition on PS5 for $15 down from $70. This is a game that, as far as I can tell, is kind of like out of stock a lot of places. Amazon, last time I checked, didn't have it available. I bought it a few months ago, I think for like 50. But yeah, if you can find this in a GameStop for $15, this is one of the best, I would say, niche RPG deals I've seen in a very, very long time. If you're trying to get into the Trail series, I wouldn't necessarily say this is a great starting point. They're doing the remake of the first game later this year. Definitely start with that. But still, for 15, if you're planning on getting into it, if you do see this, you don't see games like this cheap very often. So if you go into your GameStop and you find it, I highly recommend you pick it up and check it out if you are interested in Trails of Cold Steel, obviously, or Legend of Heroes, I should say. And then finally here, Rhapsody, Marvel Kingdom Chronicles. I was hoping that my GameStop would have this as well. I have it on Switch, but once again, I'm kind of willing to double dip on some of these RPGs. Big fan of Rhapsody, though, and yeah, for 15 bucks, I mean, if you can find it, that's just a fantastic deal. Scrolling through, here's the issue with GameStop's search, though. Maybe I missed it, but there were actually other games part of the sale as well that just did not pop up. Notably, I picked up this from my GameStop for 15, the Tomb Raider Remastered Collection on PS5. Not the greatest deal. In fact, on Best Buy right now, you can get it for 20 bucks, so that's not going to light the world on fire, but it is the cheapest I've seen it down to. I wish some of these $30 games were down to 15, like Diablo 4. I've seen that game at 30 before. Could we have done 15 on that? I think so, GameStop. Come on, price it down lower. Harvest Moon at 30, maybe at 15 I would have checked it out because, I don't know, just morbid curiosity. I haven't played one of the modern Harvest Moon games. I know they switched developers or whatever, so it's not really the same team anymore, and apparently those games are very bad. Master Collection for 30, that's not great. But there are gems in this sale. This one's kind of interesting, this Hot Wheels game. This is just a reskin of Mario Kart Live Home Circuits. So if you're interested in that, if you're, maybe you have a kid or something, little RC car game you can play with your phone, but also on PS4 and PS5. Interestingly, not on Switch. I wonder if Nintendo was like, no, we already made Mario Kart Live. You're not putting that Hot Wheels game on our platform. Some other stuff that I would have loved if it was on other platforms, like Alone in the Dark. That was a very kind of just swept under the rug release, I think maybe 2 years ago now. A remake of Alone in the Dark has, I think it has David Harbour in it or something, from Stranger Things. So that's interesting. But once again, to go over the highlights here, I think these are the ones you should really keep an eye out for. But also, watch the video, make sure you're looking through and you see anything that catches your eye that maybe I didn't talk about. Cold Steel 3 and 4 on PS5. That's the best sale I've ever seen for this game. Probably the best deal in this entire sale for 15 bucks, down from 70. Rhapsody, Marvel Kingdom Chronicles on PS5. Eternights on at PS5 for 15 is not the greatest deal, but still pretty solid for an interesting game. Raincoat on Switch for 15. Once again, I wish that PS5 version was in there. Silent Hope on a Switch for 15. Once again, that would be the day one edition in like the big box if they had it. So keep that in mind when you're looking for it. Under Night in Birth 2 on both PS5 and Switch. I was very happy to find those at my local store just because they're so niche. I didn't really think my store would even have them. Reynaudus on Switch and PS5, as well as the Legend of Legacy HD Remastered. Just gotta keep an eye out, when the sale first popped up, they were showing that Monster Menu from NIS America was also on sale for 15, but now when I look it up, in fact, we can just do it in real time. Now when I look it up, it's not showing up for some reason as part of the sale, so maybe they're flickering items in and out. This is one I would have definitely liked to pick up on PS5, but alas, they did change it back. So keep an eye out. Maybe check any games on the shelf that you're interested in. Maybe that is not reflecting the price on the website, and they will be that price in store. Definitely seems like GameStop is just clearing way to, get rid of some slower moving titles, maybe making space for Switch 2 even. I mean, the Switch 2 comes out in a couple weeks. Maybe they just want to have another wall space for that. I know at my store, the Switch section is much smaller than it used to be. I presume because they're getting ready to put Switch 2 stuff there. So let me know what you think of this sale in the comments down below. Definitely more tailored to the niche NIS America RPG sickos of us out there. But I thought it was worth sharing. We're sharing in a video because, I mean, this one really surprises me. This is crazy. You're never going to get this game cheaper, I promise you. Maybe on the PSN store or something, maybe they'll do like a crazy sale where it's like $9, but this is a really good deal. And yeah, really quickly, once again, just to go over my pickups from the sale that I was able to find, just from one GameStop location. I could check more. Maybe they have Legend of Legacy and Rhapsody, but Under Night in Birth on Switch, as well as PS5, double dip in there at that price point. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions Deluxe Edition, just kind of in that Harry Potter mood recently. Ghost Runner 2, kind of a more niche title. You don't really see too many people talking about. That came out, I think, 2 years ago now. Reynaudus on PS5, double dipping for the Switch version, as well as Tomb Raider Remastered on PS5. And then finally, just for the Call of Duty fan in me, a physical copy of Modern Warfare. Download required, though. Oh no, it's worthless. So that is going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think of the sale, and if you will be checking your GameStop, what titles are you going to be looking out for? I did see this post on Reddit. Someone got this huge special edition. I've never even heard of this game. Originally, apparently, it was like 200 bucks down to 30. So there are things not showing up on the website that are part of the sale. Definitely keep that in mind, and check your local stores for some really cool niche RPG sales. That is going to do it for today's video, though. Of course, subscribe here for more collecting content, but also deals videos like this whenever there is a good enough deal to warrant talking about and sharing with you all. Follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. Check out my Nintendo news channel at BoTalksGames. And as always, click on one of these two videos to listen to me ramble about even more Nintendo collecting stuff, as well as PlayStation here. We're trying to keep it balanced. It's about to be very imbalanced with Switch 2. But that is going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.